Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Your Gray Matters podcast. I'm Jason, joined as always by your host, my dad, Neil. How you doing today, Dad?
I'm great. Hi, everybody.
So, we've got a lot of new viewers, a lot of new subscribers, which is awesome. You folks may not be familiar with our mission, which is to bring you information about products or services that currently exist that can improve your quality of life. So lately, we've been focusing on politicians who are aimed at improving our quality of life, as you've heard over the past few episodes. But we're going back to our roots today a little bit with the guest that we have. Do you want to tell us a little bit about her, Dad?
Yeah, I love our show because our show tries to prove that the human mind cannot be defeated. We believe in disruptive technologies. We believe in people. And lately, people are struggling in this country. That's why we've taken more of a political direction. We have more people coming on with that. But tonight, I want to introduce you to a solution, not just the problem, the solution. I believe that this is going to help people who are trying to get more income, increase their income. Also, when it's hard to find jobs, whether it's for you or you're looking at your kids or maybe your grandkids, or maybe it's all of you. What if there's an answer? Tonight, we have someone who brings 47 years of experience to starting a business in your own home. It's a great answer.
Awesome. So, with that said, we'll let our guest and this interview do the talking. Please remember to like, subscribe, and if you are a new subscriber, we really appreciate it. It would be awesome if you told a friend or left a comment. It's so important for the visibility of this podcast that comments or likes are left. And so, we've got to do that pandering thing, but we really appreciate you taking the time.
And folks, watch this podcast all to the end. The answers that you are looking for are probably in this podcast. And I mean that from the heart.
All right, here we go.
Hi, everybody. As you know, I'm Neil from the Your Gray Matters podcast. We are glad to have you back. We hope that you're having a great summer and that you're taking some time for yourself. And as you know, the Your Gray Matters podcast is about knowing that our mind cannot be defeated. We will always come up with answers. As you know, we have great people on our show. We have amazing disruptive technologies. We are here to find answers. We're here tonight to talk about solutions. We're here to talk about problems. It's your choice. You can live in your problem or you can live in your solution. But here's the real truth. You're either part of your problem or you're part of your solution. And today, in this YGM podcast, we are choosing solutions. We're going to explore one of the most overlooked, misunderstood, and potentially life-changing ways to take back control of your financial future. And that is simply building a home-based business, building from home. It's timely because so many people are working from home now. But what if you could create your own business? We're not going to talk about theory. We're not talking about hype, just real talk, real options, and maybe your next step forward. And let's get started. My guest tonight is someone really special. Her name is Elaine Lynas. Hi, Elaine. Welcome to the Your Gray Matters podcast.
Hi, Neil. Thanks for having me.
We are really pleased to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, this wonderful lady who you're looking at has quietly helped thousands and thousands of people around the world change their lives. She comes from a corporate background, but she and her husband, Rick, have spent 47 years in the network marketing space building international and local teams. Think about that, folks. She's a coach, she's a mother, she's a mom to 3, a grandma to 9, and a GG to 3. And I can't believe that, Elaine. She gives her time to her community and to her church, and she's leading her company both locally and globally. She has a heart for others. She has a passion to coach and mentor those who want change. Tonight is about, do you want change? Elaine, again, welcome to the show. We are incredibly honored to have you on.
Well, as I said, it's my pleasure to be here. And, you asked me to share, and it's really something very dear to my heart. So I'm looking forward to this.
I want to ask you right off the bat, how did you ever get involved in home based business? 47 years? My Lord. All right. I was still older, but that's amazing. That's
You
amazing.
know, it's a funny story. Um, we were young. We were what, like 18 years old. We got invited to a friend's house for supper. And, you're 18, 19, trying to make your way in the world already. And so a free meal is a free meal, right? So we went and we got there and somebody brought out a whiteboard. And the next thing we knew, they were drawing sticks and circles on the board. And that's what happened. So it was way back in that day. And that's how we kind of got introduced to this.
And that was multi level marketing, I would say.
Yeah, I knew nothing about any of it. And I still wasn't sure when I saw it, but yes, that's what it was.
So let's dispel some of this stuff. MLM clearly comes with baggage, or the impression of it is that it comes with baggage. A lot of people think it's a scam or only for pushy salespeople. Let's unpack these myths and let's get to the truth, Elaine. I want to go over 4 or 5 areas where
Okay.
people have said to me, MLM, not for me. And I was hoping that you could, as we said, dispel the rumors, tell the truths, and let's get down to it. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you'll pay attention to this and then form your opinion. Don't use someone else who's forming your opinion for you. Let's just get some facts. Number one, Elaine, is MLM a pyramid scheme?
Absolutely not. You know, it blows my mind that people in today's age who have access to so much information um, and are smart people possibly still have that mindset, right? I mean, you can take any corporation, as crazy as it sounds, and whoever it might be, the owner of that company is at the top and everybody else works for that person, right? So the way I look at what this is that, and my goal, in fact, is anybody who is a part of anything I do, my goal is to help you make more money than me. And that's definitely not possible if it were one of those things.
Absolutely. And pyramids actually are illegal. MLM
True.
is not illegal. When I was looking into this, and of course, I've been involved in some of the great ones, it's almost an inverted pyramid. In other words, everybody starts at the bottom, but millions of people can end up at the top, unlike the corporation that only has one boss. So I think it's an inverted pyramid, Elaine.
Well, and I think the interesting thing that a lot of people don't know is that in order for any of these companies that are out there to operate, let's just take Canada for a moment. Every province has to approve of the compensation plan for it to be allowed in their province, which means that that particular government and that province, whatever, they have to okay it to say yes. So when they're okaying it and it's legal, if it wasn't, it wouldn't be approved and people wouldn't be allowed to build. So I kind of like to focus on that a little bit as well.
And what you said is so important because nobody here is new to scams. They've certainly become a way of life, especially on the internet. But
Mhm.
this is an approved process where there are laws, there are markers, there are ways of measuring the company. So maybe that helps to answer the next myth that I heard about is that only people at the top can make money. Nobody
No.
else in ML.
It's interesting. Again, going back, like when we started, we were young and we saw this industry, and I call it an industry or a profession because that truly is what it is. All walks of life take a look at what we do, participate in what we do. It adds extra streams of income. And, one of the biggest things that we've always paid attention to is what does the compensation plan look like? And does the person who has no idea how to even begin with something like this, how does that person is there an opportunity for that person to recoup the investment money that they put in to start their business, because it is a legitimate business with tax advantages, right? Again, if it wasn't legal, you couldn't write any of these things off and you wouldn't have the tax advantages. We look for, how can we help that brand new person make money? What does it look like and how fast can we help them get whatever it is they're looking for, right? It's not getting to that top of the compensation plan, where of course there's always other bonuses because you're doing a ton of work helping all the people, right? So you're basically being paid for your work and effort. But for us, it's all about that new person. How do we help you have that success?
And as you said, the people already in the business growing this kind of business can't make more money unless they're helping people to make money
True.
first. I don't
Yep.
know. I don't know of any other business that does that. Actually, it's one of the things I love. People are afraid that they have to pressure their friends, their family to get involved with. But today's tools, I don't think people are doing that anymore.
It's interesting. I remember back in the day, like, you didn't want to tell your friends and family, right? Well, with social media, it's very hard to keep a secret. So, and today, a lot of people, a lot of young people, and it's known by many different things today. So we have that old language of MLM, network marketing, but then there's direct sales. Now there's affiliate marketing, right? It's all under different things, but a lot of it is done, especially by that younger age group of, let's say 20 to 35, all on social media. They're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, and they're selling products, right? They're doing a lot of things differently than the old school people are. We're still a lot of belly to belly and in coffee shops and meeting people.
Yeah, it's true. And actually, we're not pressuring people and we're not selling
Mm.
people stuff. And we're going to come
Yep.
back to that because that is the point. If someone is willing to learn, someone's willing to put some hours in, you can really be trained not only how to build this business, but to become a real life entrepreneur. This is a real business. And when one becomes an entrepreneur, one of the first things you learn is you're going to put in more work than you make money. Then your work and your money is going to equal out. Then you're going to be way overpaid for the rest of your life. But I think what I like best is the principles that we learn as we become an entrepreneur, being mentored. Maybe just talk about how a mentoring system works in MLM and why a person owns their own business, but they're not alone.
Okay. So one of the things I just want to step back on for a moment, because we're referring to MLM a lot.
Yeah.
And along the way, right? Most of us and most of the people listening know or understand that to mean multi-level marketing, right? But I've learned along the way, it's about me loving more, and the more I can love on people and help them, right? So that's kind of where, for me, the mentoring comes in. And having been in the industry as long as I have, I've had some incredible mentors myself, and I still do, who walk me through scenarios every single day that, challenges I may come up upon in our teams in various countries and whatnot. And when you try to go this business alone, it is your own business, right? You've started your own business, you've launched your own business, but you're not in business by yourself. So it's very different to getting a franchise and trying to get a franchise up and running. And it's like, well, here you go. Here's the rules. Have fun. Hope you make it. Here, it's where you have a team of people that lock arms with you and they show you the ropes and they take you step by step, and help you grow your business. One of the things that we always teach and mentor with is, first I do, then we do together, and then you do it. So you're never doing anything by yourself. You're learning, but then you're able to then coach somebody else how to do what you've done. And that's the whole process. It's about having a team of people all moving forward at the same time, teaching each other the things that they're learning and the things that work and the best way to do things, so that they're not hitting those landmines that are out there, right? We're able to say, hey, don't go that way, do it this way, and watch what happens.
And I think the most fascinating thing is a lot of people pay for coaches, and there are terrific business coaches out there. I salute
Mhm.
every one of them. But in this business, you don't pay extra fees for that coaching. The people on your team, when you open up your business, are there to coach and assist you because it's the only way that the whole program can work. I think that is without a doubt the best thing of having this kind of a home-based business.
Well, and I agree, Neil. When you've got a home-based business, it's a beautiful thing for a lot of families because life is busy, life is hectic, and people are trying to find a second job or a third job because it's crazy out there and everything is rising, right? All the bills are rising, groceries are getting more expensive. People are looking to find a way to create that extra income. And so when you've got moms at home, they're able to work their business around nap time or when their kids are in school, right? And everything that we do these days is done on our phone. We don't even need a laptop. All we need is this little thing in our hand, and we can run a multi-million-dollar business right off of our phone, right? And that's because of the systems that the companies put in place to make it simple for us to do.
And it's really interesting because what you just said also is a big, big reason to work from home. You don't have to rent an office. You don't have to get up in the morning and drive in the traffic. Your biggest traffic is stopping off in your kitchen to get coffee if that's what you drink,
Yeah,
then going
true.
to
Yeah.
your desk to work. You don't need to spend money, as I said, on an office or a building. You're not required to buy tons and tons of inventory. That's scary. And I think what I also learned about this is that you don't have to even be outgoing to succeed. You just have to be willing to learn, perhaps
Mhm.
personally grow. Let's talk about personal growth in this kind of a business. The first one I tried, believe it or not, now I'm a podcaster. I was so shy, I didn't even want to walk into people's rooms. I was totally afraid to talk to people. I don't know how I ended up at 71 doing a podcast, but talk to us about personal growth and how this can help people.
I'm with you, Neil. I remember, gosh, I was afraid. My very first thing I was doing, I mean, I would take an order over the phone. This was before any of the great devices we have now. And I would make sure that person was not home so that I could deliver the product. And then I would go back to get the check out of the mailbox because I didn't want to see them. And then fast forward to having been on stages of thousands of people. But I mean, we have options in life, right? To just sit and accept everything and do nothing. I don't even know how somebody would do that. There's so many things to learn out there, whether it's about business, whatever it is, right? We've been given an incredible mind that to let it go to waste is crazy, right? So for me, it's trying to, for me, it's learning about how to be the best person I can be. And if I'm not good at something, it's like, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it. But how do I do it? Right. And learning. And one of the biggest things I learned, I've been blessed to be coached by John Maxwell a
Wow.
few years ago. And now I'm in the middle of a private coaching again with him, with a group of us. But it's about failing forward. And that's the only way you get better at something. I mean, we think about when we were little, right? We got up, we fell over, we tried to walk again, and we kept getting up. And I mean, what if we never did? What if we stayed and chose not to stand back up and walk again? Right. But it's about dusting ourselves off and going again and trying. And that's how anybody gets to do anything great. Anybody that you think about, when you think about what they've achieved and where they are, it didn't happen the first time.
So, what I'm hearing is you can do it from home, you can join a team, you can start out at your own pace, but you have a team of people who are mentoring and helping you for no extra charge, but
Mhm.
they have a vested interest in your success, and that quickly becomes a team. I
Exactly.
I love it. And so this is not about luck. This is not about hype, everybody. It's about people helping people with great products, depending on the company, and fair systems. And there is legality involved that the province has set standards and the company works through the standards. And I find that to be terrific, Elaine. Thank you. So I want to shift a little bit from myth to method. One of the things that people maybe have never heard before, so here's new words possibly for people. Or if you know these words, here's a way to earn it. It's called residual income. People actually can grow their business to the point where the money keeps coming in but they're not working so hard. Isn't it true?
It's exactly true.
And so, how do you start that? I mean, I imagine when a person is working within one of these marvelous companies, you probably should be your own customer, huh? You should probably use some of the product.
Well, it's true, right? I mean, you want to be a product of your product. That would make sense. I mean, you would like to think that people who work in certain restaurants or, drive or work at certain car dealerships drive a specific car. We don't know that for sure. I don't know that about everybody, right? But, when we talk about residual income, I mean, for us, right, the company that I'm with, anytime I've been with a company and I use their products, my big thing is I don't want to run out, right? So whether it has been vitamins or whatever, it's skincare, whatever it's been, I didn't want to run out. So I could put myself on what you would call an auto ship, a smart ship, or whatever it might be, um, so that every single month that product shows up at my door. And I don't know about you, Neil, but for us, we've had things like that for many things. Our dogs, right? We have something that comes every single month for them. It just is on standard order. I can do that through Amazon, where I have a an order every single month that comes in of products that I want, right? And if you think about it, people that are on medication and you have your drugs, like my mom, for example, every Friday, her medicine shows up. It just residually comes to her door and the drugstore has the money, right? That's how those businesses grow. She doesn't have to remember to place that order. So I love that whole mindset of being able to just, you know, set it down, make sure it's done, and know that every single month your products, you're always going to have what you need. You're not going to run out of something. And so that's the residual side of it. Yeah.
And the best part of that is, of course, for reputable companies, you're not going to be loaded with inventory because you have control of your auto ship. You can stop it, you can change it. You're in control. So the myth of garages full of
Oh,
inventory and
gosh, no.
unneeded stock, etc., not in this day and age, not with easy to deliver products. We're living in a new world, aren't we? Just in time deliveries happen every day for everybody. And,
Yeah.
it's funny because I guess if you're using products that you love, you're going to share the idea. I mean, who hasn't bragged to their friend about something that they love? Have you tried this peanut butter? Have you tried, oh, that's a nice cologne? Elaine, isn't that the biggest part of this as you use it? Then you start to introduce people to it because you like it?
It's all about sharing, right? I look at it like I'm just sharing something I love, right? I'm sharing something I think you might find useful, depending on what those products are. If you're telling me, hey, I have this ache and this pain, I might share, this is something I use. You might like it, right? Try it. It's never oh, I need you to do this, right? I'm just sharing something that I have in my hands that I believe could help you. My hands are open with it. It's your choice whether you want to take it or you don't. And that's just how it is.
Wow. And I guess if you're using it and you're introducing it and people start to use it, depending on the kind of company and the compensation plan, you can build that team to that residual income, but you're not out banging on people's doors every day, banging
Nope.
and banging away, trying to get sales and trying to get them to join that business of yours. That's not what's happening. And my experience is perhaps if people can understand that you have to work hard to build your own business, but having one where the path is set for you and you
Yeah.
have the support, man, that is a lot easier than a lot of businesses. And kudos to you for having done this for so many years. I think for myself, the consistency and the mentorship has got to be just the biggest part of this because if you're following leaders, and think about this, ladies and gentlemen, people who may have in their lives already the rewards, the gifts, the lifestyle, they're willing to teach you how to do that. How many times in life do you have that? Think about this. This is part of recognizing growth of your own life because people are willing to guide you. Boy, that's a big difference. And I think, Elaine, another thing is people can still keep their jobs. They should keep their jobs and they should be the best at their jobs. They say, you make money from 8 till 5, but you make a life from 5 till midnight. I think that's a big part of that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Jim Rohn who said something like that, where it's like, but in the evening time, it's like you're working on your fortune, right? Something like that. But it really is true. This is something. Let me go to a franchise again, right? If you start a franchise, I mean, you're there all day, all night. You can't leave. There's a lot of everything on your shoulders. When you have a business like this that you're running from home, you don't have all those headaches. Like you said, Neil, we don't have the overhead. We don't have to do stuff to keep the lights on. We don't have any of that. We have websites where all of the marketing is already taken care of for you. You're not paying extra for those things. All of your bookkeeping, record, accounting, all that kind of stuff is in the back office, and you're not paying monthly for those things, right? So you're not paying people. It's done. All your reports are there, which is really cool. And you can do this full time. You can do it part time. You can do it sometime. It all depends on your lifestyle and what you're looking for to get from a business. I mean, if somebody is in a circumstance where they have to replace income quickly for because of something with their job, it's a possibility. It's doable that you can do that. If you're just looking to create some side money to put away for vacation, if you're looking like for us, right? We are retirement age, and I'm taking a look at my CPP check and my OAS check that I finally qualified for. And I truly don't know how somebody is supposed to live on something like that. You have to have other streams of income, because how else are you going to make it? What are you going to do?
Agreed. Agreed. And folks, I think many of you know that I'm also in the financial services world. I have my mortgage agent's license in Ontario. And the thing that we in the financial world know that right now in Canada, the lives of most Canadians would change with an extra $300 to $500 a month. Think what I'm telling you. In this marvelous country of ours, people are $300 away from paying their bills. The question
Mhm.
is, would you like to be the person who's taught how to make that extra dollar? Think about it. Look around you. How many people know how to make an extra dollar without being in another job? That's entrepreneurship, and it's amazing. And you said something so fascinating, Elaine. I love it because you reminded me. Yeah, it's about not having to kill yourself. That was not your words. To keep the lights on. But when you do keep the lights on in this business, or when you do have expenses and you do have travel as you grow in your business, if you do, and while you're starting to make that $300 a month and moving it into 5 figures, 6 figures, whatever you want it to be, Revenue Canada, CRA, our country, recognizes your work and your income as a private owned business. Elaine, I think people who own their own businesses, even from home, enjoy tax breaks, do they not?
Yes. Now, I mean, I'll preface this by saying I am not an accountant. I'm not a bookkeeper. So don't, I mean, I can tell you all of our years of experience, and we've got an amazing gal that works with us and has for years. But I mean, there's so many different things, because when you have a home business, it's a portion of your home that you are eligible to write off, a portion of your heat and your hydro, your cell phones, your vehicle, your gas that you're using to drive back and forth, the internet, because you have to have that. So you've got the ability to have all of these expenses that you can use, right? Even so much as your products are samples, right? You can write those off as samples. Um, Gosh, I think back to when I was young doing this with children, and, able to write off daycare and all of that type of thing. But now that we're older and we travel and have teams in different countries, whether, it could be in the US or different parts of Canada or Europe or something like that, we can travel and go and see the world, and see old friends and make new friends, and we get to have those as expenses because we're building our businesses in other locations, right? So that's just been something I remember growing up in this industry, I should say, and we had small children. We were never in a place to afford to go on vacations, and so what we did, the companies would offer incentives that you could earn trips, you could earn vacations. That's how our kids got to go on things, because financially we would never have been able to do it. So I always love to talk to young families. It's an opportunity for them to do things with their kids that normally they can't afford.
I agree. And ladies and gentlemen, the truth is, as we said, if you're in a job, you should do your job and be the best at your job. But have you ever noticed that you can't write off any of your expenses? Your drive to work is not tax deductible, your gasoline, all that kind of stuff. But if you have a home based business and it's legitimate, and again, Elaine is right, you want to employ a good tax specialist to know how to live within the laws of our country. The truth is, you can really benefit from that end too. And to be very perfectly honest with everybody, because I know a lot of people who build businesses from home while they have a job, even after they don't have a job, and even retired like myself. The truth of the matter is, you just can feel really good about yourself because you wake up every morning, you go to work, that's great. But when you come home and you work in your own business, you're the boss. Mm-hmm. You're the boss. Your mentoring team, as we mentioned, are not your bosses. They're your coaches. You decide what you want to do, what you don't want to do. Well, as we wrap up, and we got a few more minutes here, Elaine, let's get down to specifics. There are really, really good opportunities out there. There's great companies out there for home-based businesses. But we wanted to give everybody an example of one, a Canadian company. And I happen to personally think that it's a great company, but please look at different opportunities. And one last thing before we talk about this great company. Please don't listen to the opinions of people who don't pay your bills. Mm-hmm. Please do the research yourself. Please go out and meet the people maybe you'll want to be in business with. Everybody's open to having you. Most people offer live meetings. They also offer Zoom meetings for information. Please look into it, but don't take the opinion on this whole industry of someone or anyone who A, means well, but doesn't know anything about it. And at the end of the day, are they paying your bills? Are they putting food on your table? I came across a company, Elaine, I know that you know them well. So let's give a great example. There's a tremendous Canadian company. They've been around for 3 years and they've already become a world leader in health and wellness. Let's talk about the Super Patch business a little bit. Tell me what you know about Super Patch. And of course, people, I'm aware of it. I use the product, full disclosure, but I've asked Elaine to talk about what this is.
Oh my goodness. I am more than happy to do so. Being in the business as long as we have, 47 years, we've come across some incredible companies. We've worked with some great ones. Maybe things have happened, but 17 months ago, we actually had the privilege and the honor to meet the owner of this company, Mr. Jay Dollywall, and he is the engineer of these patches. It's his whole thing, right? And he started it because he was on a mission to help his mom. She has MS and he just wanted to be able to give her a better quality of life. And so he's been working on engineering these patches. I think it was like 15, 16 years. But outside of all of that, when we looked at this, it was kind of like we had never seen anything like it. It was not another Me Too product, right? There's a lot of great wellness products, a lot of great shakes, a lot of great vitamins, a lot of great skincare. But this was not that. It was something completely different. It was wearable technology and it's a disruptive product. So if you're looking for a business, you want to look for something that's got a few things that are really important that other people don't have. Something that's not Me Too, something that can't be copied, right? Nobody can come along and get what we have, which I know that sounds like a bold statement, but he has our patches globally protected in 186 countries. You can't get what we have, right? It's kind of like Colonel Sanders, Coca-Cola. They didn't patent their products, right? You don't know how to get that Coca-Cola taste, right? You can try. Dr. Pepper's close, but they can try. And so you've got something like that, right? Again, it is something that is no drugs and no chemicals, which in today's society, people I talk to all the time, that's what they want, right? So it's something that's safe. So whether they're an 8-month-old baby or a 95-year-old on 5 medications, it's not going to mess anything up. It's not going to harm them. It's like a Band-Aid, right? And it works with your own brain. So it's kind of fascinating when you think of that. And then it's affordable. Gosh, this is one of the biggest ones, because in today's world, if you're looking at a company, you've got to find a product that's affordable, that the masses can afford. And when we're talking anywhere from $40 to $60 for something that you can use instead of some other things, right? It's definitely affordable. So there's a huge thing there. Plus, when you think about all of that, the opportunities to create an income, or just to simply be a customer and share and create a bit of a referral thing, right? This is pretty cool as well. And as you said, Neil, we're our head office is in Mississauga. We are now in 33 countries. We are ready for Mexico this month, which is exciting. But something that's important is that this company does everything by the book. Nothing flies in under the radar. Everything is above board with every document signed. And so you can stand strong knowing that it's not going to fall apart. And Jay's actually here building a 5-generation legacy, is what he says, right? So he's already had companies come to him to try to buy him out. He's already had energy drink companies come to get our clean energy patch and white label it. And he's like, nope, nope. And he's doing it through this distribution method of network marketing, because sharing stories of how these are working and changing people's lives, no matter the age, is what moves these products to market. And his goal is to get this around the world. So we might be in 31 countries now, but I'm more excited about where we're going to be going.
And just to clarify, everybody, and thank you, Elaine, when you understand the nature of this network marketing, you sitting where you are in your place right now, no matter where it is, you can have a business in these different countries. Imagine an international company also across our great country of Canada. I always say, if you can build a business where you want a vacation, now that's a cool idea. And you can do that with this. Elaine, what I learned myself too is whether you're 25 or 75, you can make use of this product. You can feel the change with your health and wellness, and you can simply share your story with others and quite possibly build a business with it. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's fantastic. Elaine, this has been powerful. I can't thank you enough. And to our listeners, I want to leave you with this. We start off by saying you're either a part of your problem or your solution. You're not stuck. You're not too late. You're not too old. You're not too busy. You're not too underqualified. You're just your decision of way of making a difference in your own life. We are here to help you. Jason, our great producer and director, will post for you an email where you can write to us, and we will put you in touch with the right people. He'll post Super Patch at yourgraymatterspod.com. We are here to help you. Elaine Lynas, you're a blessing. Thank you very much. And folks, if you want to meet Elaine, there are some public events. Reach out to us and we'll tell you where you can meet Elaine and her husband, Rick, and get some really amazing hope, dreams, and the ability to get them. Thanks a lot. Bye, Elaine.
Thank you, Neil. Good night.
Thanks for watching. If you found it interesting and you liked it, give us a thumbs up. If you're ready to subscribe, click right here. And if you'd like to see another episode, click right here. Tell a friend. Send us comments. Thanks a lot.